What's up, Hanz family? I am back with a tutorial for you guys. This is going to be Babydoll from the movie Sucker Punch. This has been so incredibly highly requested, so I thought I'd give it to you guys because I miss you and I fucking love you. All product details will be listed down below as usual and throughout the video. Let's get started. First and foremost, we want to prime our face. So I'm using Makeup Forever's green primer. This is their new primer, and I wanted to put a little over my tattoo to show you how well it does diffuse red. If you have red in your skin, this is great because green and red are complementary colors, so green will cancel out the red. For foundation, we're going to be mixing two. I'm using this MAC Cosmetics white foundation and my Dior Airflash, which is what I usually use every day. I did this just because I wanted it to be a little lighter than normal, and I'm just buffing this on my face in downward motions with a kabuki brush. You can also spray your face with a little bit of Fix Plus. This will shear down the foundation just a little bit if you don't want it too intense, okay? You guys already know for concealer, it's my NARS Radiant Concealer. This is pale as shit, Chantilly, their lightest color, and it's super creamy. Just put this on the high points of your face, and since her skin is milky smooth, I want to put this on any little blemish I have, which I have a few because my skin has been a little unhappy. Blend that all in using a beauty blender, and I always spray a little bit of Fix Plus just so it blends nicely into the foundation we put down first. Now that we are a complete blank slate of color, I'm going to take this Laura Mercier translucent powder, and this is just going to set our makeup. I mainly keep this more towards the high points of the face where I set the concealer. So recently, Makeup Geek came out with new contour shades. They're awesome because they have cool ones and warm ones. I'm using the cool porcelain shade. You can see how cool toned it is. It's awesome for us pale beauties. I'm just going to use this to contour out my face. And I go right under my cheekbone. She kind of has these more rounded, intense cheekbones. She was actually a perfect paint for me to do because her face is a little round. And I just kind of helped to carve out my chin a little bit. She has a defined jaw. And add just a tiny bit to your temples too. Her face isn't like super contoured, it just kind of is defined a little bit. Beautylish had recently sent me this pearl highlighter from BECCA. Again, perfect if you have pale skin. It is absolutely white, no yellow tones in it whatsoever. And with Babydoll's skin, though we just matted it out with the foundation, we're going to bring back some of that dewiness with this highlighter. Her whole face is illuminated in highlighter, so I'm putting this all over the high points of my face and really dragging it almost everywhere. I want every single angle of my face to look like it has a little dew to it. I realized while looking at the reference picture a little bit, she has a little bit of a dip in her nose, so I did that, but if you're just doing this for beauty makeup, you don't need to worry about that. I just wanted to look as close to Emily Browning as possible because she's heavenly. Kat Von D makes this really awesome tattoo brow pen. I'm using the blonde one just to fill in her eyebrows. There's nothing too fancy going on with them. They're just kind of to her natural shape. So I'm doing them very lightly and then using some clear gel just to keep them in place. One of Babydoll's signature features, I would say, is her rosy cheeks. So I'm using this color from NYX, and I am going to just really intensify around the apples of my cheeks. Her blush is a little high, so I went just a little bit higher than I normally would. You want to just blend that up towards your cheekbones. Make sure to add a lot because she had some rosy fucking cheeks. I mean, first, we're taking all the color out of our skin and then we're putting it back in certain spots. I don't know. Makeup's weird. Add a little more highlighter just on top of that blush so it nicely blends in. I went ahead and already primed my eyes using my Urban Decay Primer Potion. And when looking at Babydoll's makeup, it's almost like a very soft, diffused cut crease. Use a very light eyeshadow in a very light hand. I'm using Barcelona Beach by Makeup Geek to kind of draw out your crease a little bit. I went a little higher than my normal natural crease line. Like you would with any eyeshadow look, start darkening it over time while blending in between, switching now to a smaller Morphe brush and Mocha from Makeup Geek. Make sure to really blend it out because it is not a harsh, sharp line. Her eyes are pretty pouty looking, so I took a little bit of Bedrock from Makeup Geek, and I went about 1/4 of an inch underneath the eye, just to make it look a little larger, and then leaving room for these two NYX Cosmetics Jumbo Pencils, one in Cottage Cheese and one in Milk. Taking Cottage Cheese, which is the shimmery one, going right underneath the eye and in the corner, and then Milk, which is white, right inside the waterline. This will help to make your eyes look a little bigger, brighter. I'm sure you guys are all very aware of Lex on YouTube, Made You Look. If you're not, you definitely should check her out. She recently sent me her liner and I've been using it for a little while, just testing it out, and I absolutely love it. So I wanted to use it in this tutorial. It was perfect. What it is this felt tip liner, and it's very, very dark and opaque. So I'm just drawing out some little wings. Her wings aren't that intense in the movie, but I just can't get away from that thick wing liner. This isn't even thick to me either. This is kind of like, ooh, okay, light liner, all right. So if you want it exactly how she has it in the movie, do it a little thinner. Here's just the difference a pair of false lashes can make. These are the Faction lashes by none other than Alex Faction. You can see they just make a world of difference. I don't know what it is even. Just brings the whole look together. Makeup Monsters Cosmetics makes some awesome liquid lipsticks. I'm using these two colors mixed together. You can see in the center is the mixed color I'm using. These are great. They do come off a little bit if you are eating oily foods, so just watch out for that if you are wanting to try these out. And putting this around an Ashley piercing, some of you guys were curious. It's very, very easy, especially with an applicator or a brush. Add a little bit of Mocha eyeshadow around the lips just to kind of get more of her shape. Add it a little bit underneath for a poutier effect. And then since I overlined and hid my Cupid's bow, hers is very prominent, so I just drew one back in using concealer and adding a little bit more of that highlighter on top. Add a dab of clear gloss and then make sure to set your makeup. I'm using the Lock It Setting Spray by Kat Von D. Obviously, I had to paint her uniform instead of just buy one and wear it, so I'm just taking the Milk Jumbo pencil again by NYX and outlining her uniform. This will just help so that when I'm painting I have some guidelines to go by. Then we want to start mixing our paint. Mixing these body paints is very easy. You just take a little bit of water. I like to spray mine out of a spray bottle on top of the paint, and you just mix it around with your brush to activate the paint. This will make it creamy, and it's very, very easy to mix different colors together as well. I usually custom mix most of the paints I use, so I mixed, you can see here, white with a little bit of that storm cloud and a tiny bit of that Dijon color just to get that aged gray look for the top portion of her uniform, the collar. Sometimes you do need a couple coats, that's okay, especially if you have tattoos like I do. I try to cover mine the best I can, and so I usually end up doing a few coats. Just make sure to use a light hand if you are adding multiple coats so that you don't pick up any of the previous coats you had put down. These do dry completely matte and you'll be able to move around in them and not worry about them smearing around each other. For the navy blue, I just mixed lagoon blue and black and a tiny bit of purple. She has much more intense of a bone structure than I do, so I'm using a little bit of that contour shade Breakup I had used earlier just to contour out some of my bones and neck muscles. Then you also want to add a shadow from the shirt onto the skin. This will help to make the shirt look a little more 3D and like it's actually popping off your skin. Then take a small angle brush and go right up against the shirt. I couldn't find one because most of my brushes are dirty, so I'm just using a paintbrush. For a little more highlighting, I did add a little bit of the concealer in the middle of my chest. Just blended that out a little bit. Just like any clothes, they're going to have a lot of highlights and shadows to them. So I like to blend cream paints on top for highlights. So using that Krylon base to just blend that out on the middle portion of the collar towards the front, since that's where most of the highlight would be. And then start using Stealth and Bedrock mixed together from Makeup Geek to add shadow. Mostly towards the edges of the shoulders and the curve of the collar, because as the collar would curve around, it would have a little bit of shadow. Same with right underneath the collar where these little ties are going to come out. You're going to add a shadow underneath that onto the tie. With these shadows, always start out light and just work your way to making it darker as you go. You can see I'm starting to mix in some Stealth from Makeup Geek as well. Even though our base is navy blue, I still want to add some black shadow underneath the collar onto the blue. So I'm using a little bit of black paint for that. Then for the stripes, still use that same navy paint, and I'm just using a little angle brush as well again. I'm drawing out the line first, and then I'm going back and cleaning it up afterwards. Sometimes it's kind of a pain to clean up these lines, but it must be done. Just take your time. Don't go too fast, or else then you'll start to fuck up and get frustrated. I've been there. Darken around the collar just a little more. I am using Mocha again. Add just a little bit of shadowing to the strap that's going to be holding on to her sword. I'm using Mocha and Stealth, the mixture, just to kind of make this braided shape on it. And then for highlighting, we have to do those final highlights. It brings the entire look together. Just start adding a little bit of that cream paint in a few select spots. Everywhere that collar would be lifting up a little bit is where you're going to add some. Usually on the curves, usually right towards the center. Anywhere that near there's a shadow, there's usually a highlight as well. Put on a wig. I got this one from Amazon. I literally looked up Babydoll Amazon wig, and there you go. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. This was super fun. I'm so glad I finally got to do it. I am going back to my normal schedule of Monday and Thursday uploads, so please subscribe and check me out every Monday and Thursday and whatever. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you later.